For over a century, Coca-Cola has been more than just a beverage. It's been a cultural force, a symbol of American capitalism, and one of the most successful marketing stories in history. With its iconic red logo recognized by 94% of the world's population, Coke sells nearly 2 billion servings every single day across every country except Cuba and North Korea. But behind the feel-good ads featuring smiling families, jolly Santa Clauses, and catchy jingles lies a far more disturbing reality. This is the untold story of how a cocaine-laced patent medicine transformed into a global empire through ruthless business tactics, political manipulation. Chapter 1. The Addictive Origins, 1886 to 1900. The story begins in the post-Civil War American South, where morphine addiction ran rampant among wounded veterans. One such veteran was John Stith Pemberton, a pharmacist and former Confederate officer who became addicted to morphine after being slashed by a saber during the war. Like many of his contemporaries, Pemberton turned to the booming patent medicine industry, creating his own version of the popular Vin Mariani, a French tonic combining Bordeaux wine with coca leaves, the source of cocaine. Pemberton's French wine coca claimed to cure everything from morphine addiction to nervous disorders, capitalizing on cocaine's then legal stimulant properties. When Atlanta enacted prohibition in 1886, Pemberton reformulated his drink, replacing wine with sugar syrup and carbonated water. The result was a sickly sweet, highly caffeinated beverage that bookkeeper Frank Robinson named Coca-Cola, literally advertising its two active ingredients. Early marketing touted it as a brain tonic that could relieve headaches and exhaustion, though its real appeal came from its cocaine content, about 9 milligrams per glass, equivalent to a line of modern street cocaine. As public opinion turned against cocaine in the early 1900s, the company began using decocainized coca leaves while maintaining the stimulant kick through massive doses of caffeine and sugar. The company's true turning point came when Asa Candler, a ruthless businessman with a knack for marketing, acquired the formula through questionable means. Historical evidence suggests Candler may have forged signatures and manipulated Pemberton's morphine-addicted state to gain control of the company for just $2,300. To erase any challenges to his ownership, Candler systematically destroyed early company records, a pattern of obscuring uncomfortable truths that would become a Coca-Cola trademark. Chapter 2. Building the Myth, 1900 to 1945. Candler's genius lay in understanding that Coca-Cola wasn't selling a beverage, but an idea, the promise of refreshment, energy, and American optimism. He pioneered marketing techniques that are now standard. Ubiquitous branding. Coca-Cola painted its logo on over 1 million barns and buildings across America, ensuring constant visibility product placement. The company paid pharmacists to recommend Coke for ailments and installed elaborate soda fountains as community gathering spots. Celebrity endorsements. Early ads featured famous athletes and entertainers, establishing Coke as part of the good life. However, Candler's most consequential decision was his disastrous handling of bottling rights. In 1899, he sold perpetual bottling rights for just $1 to 2 Tennessee lawyers, believing bottled soda was a fad. This oversight would cost the company millions in legal battles for decades as it tried to reclaim control from independent bottlers. World War II became Coca-Cola's springboard to global domination. Company President Robert Woodruff declared that every soldier should have a Coke for 5 cents, wherever he is and whatever it costs. Through aggressive lobbying, Coke convinced the U.S. government to exempt Coke from sugar rationing by declaring it essential for morale, fund construction of 64 overseas bottling plants using taxpayer money, grant Coke executives military ranks to operate behind enemy lines. The result? American GIs became walking advertisements, introducing Coke to every corner of the globe. Meanwhile, in Nazi Germany, local Coke manager Max Keith invented Fanta using cheese whey and apple fiber when syrup shipments stopped. Evidence suggests Nazi factories using forced labor produced this wartime Fanta, which Coca-Cola quietly reintegrated into its product line after the war. Chapter 3, The Dark Side of Dominance, 1950s to 1990s. The post-war era saw Coke perfect its cradle-to-grave marketing strategy, conditioning children to become lifetime consumers through school contracts, paying schools to install Coke vending machines and ban competitors. Toy marketing, producing Coke-branded dolls, trucks, and board games. Hollywood integration, buying Columbia Pictures in 1982 to control product placement. Behind the wholesome image, Coca-Cola faced growing controversies. Labor violence in Latin America. In Colombia and Guatemala, union organizers at Coke bottling plants faced systematic violence. Court documents reveal over 470 union members were murdered between 1989 and 2002, with allegations that plant managers collaborated with paramilitary death squads. While Coca-Cola maintains these were independent franchises, lawsuits uncovered payments to anti-union militias. Environmental destruction. In India, farmers near Coke bottling plants found their wells mysteriously drying up as the company extracted up to 1.5 million liters of water daily. Tests showed groundwater contained toxic levels of cadmium and lead from plant waste. Similar water shortages emerged in Mexico and Tanzania, where Coke plants operated during severe droughts. The new Coke debacle, 1985. When Pepsi's challenge ads showed consumers preferring its taste, Coke panicked and reformulated its century-old recipe. The backlash was immediate and volcanic. Over 400,000 complaint calls, protests with signs like, "Our children were raised on real Coke, not this imposter." The company was forced to reintroduce the original formula as Coca-Cola Classic just 79 days later. Internal documents suggest executives anticipated the outrage, leading many to believe the whole crisis was an elaborate marketing ploy to renew public affection for the brand. Chapter 4, Modern Scandals and the Illusion Machine, 2000s to present. Today, Coca-Cola faces its greatest challenges yet, the obesity epidemic. As studies linked sugary drinks to diabetes and heart disease, Coke funded misleading research suggesting exercise, not diet, was the key to weight loss. Emails revealed the company paid scientists to downplay sugar's health risks, mirroring tactics used by tobacco companies. Water privatization. In Chiapas, Mexico, Coke buys water at government-subsidized rates of $0.0005 per liter, while local indigenous communities walk miles for clean water. The company consumes over 1 million liters daily from drought-stricken regions. Plastic pollution. Coke produces over 100 billion plastic bottles annually, many ending up in oceans and landfills. Despite pledges to improve recycling, investigations show the company lobbies against bottle deposit laws that cut into profits. Yet the marketing machine rolls on, spending $4 billion annually to maintain the illusion. From personalized bottles to viral social media campaigns, Coke continues selling happiness while obscuring its impacts. The company's real product isn't brown sugar water. It's the carefully crafted mythology that lets consumers ignore uncomfortable truths. The empire of illusion. Coca-Cola's story reflects the dark side of global capitalism, how a product with no intrinsic value became indispensable through psychological manipulation, political influence, and sheer force of will. From its cocaine-laced beginnings to its modern environmental crimes, the company demonstrates how corporations can shape not just markets, but cultures, governments, and even our sense of identity. As health concerns grow and water scarcity worsens, Coca-Cola faces an existential challenge. Can it maintain its carefully constructed fantasy in an age of transparency? Or will the world finally wake up to the bitter aftertaste behind the real thing? The answer may determine not just the future of a beverage company, but of our planet's health and resources. Because when the fizz settles, one truth remains. The most valuable thing Coca-Cola ever created wasn't a drink, but the addiction to its own mythology. This investigation into Coca-Cola is just one chapter in the hidden history of corporate power. From big tobacco to big tech, These empires shape our lives while hiding their true costs. Subscribe to Fraud and Fortune as we peel back the layers of deception behind the world's most powerful companies. Hit that notification bell because the next scandal might already be in your shopping cart.